Hey everyone, it's Emily and this is Emmylou Arts, and today I'm going to do something really different but fun, and I'm glad that I had the idea to record it because I think some of you might be really interested. I'm going to do a fall chalkboard sign in my kitchen, and I don't know how to hand letter, so stay tuned to see how I actually do that. So if you're new here, we made that chalkboard on our pantry doors by framing out some trim and painting the trim, and then my husband wood glued it up there, and then I just painted in the middle of the square with chalkboard paint. And I use it to do seasonal signs and just fun things. My kids really think it's fun. But I am not an expert at hand lettering whatsoever. So I look on Pinterest and I find something that I like. And the important thing here is to know your skill level. If you're not great, don't choose something that's super difficult. Start simple. And because there are some really intricate ones out there. I will insert a picture at the end of what I chose to copy. And I think it's actually a sign that's for sale on Etsy. So I'll link below the shop that it's from so you can buy it. This isn't my artwork. It's not my idea. I'm just copying that cute picture. So I apologize to that shop owner. I hope that's, I don't know where the line is here, folks. So if this is not right, I'm sorry. Just let me know. But anyways, I don't know how to hand letter. So my strategy is to start from the center. I started with the I, and I don't look at the word as a whole. I look at each separate letter and just look at the lines and the angles. I don't try and write out the word all at once because, like I said, I can't hand letter. So as you can see, I'm doing bits and pieces at a time, and I'm just looking at the curvature, and I'm just doing copying the curves, basically. I'm not trying to copy the letter. All I'm doing is trying to copy the curves and the line thickness. And so when you get it all done, it actually looks like hand lettering. The important thing to focus on, I found, when you're trying to copy hand lettering is the thickness of the lines and trying to get that curvature right, and the dip in your letters where letters connect. You know how it kind of sweeps down and makes that sort of sharp, dullish angle back up? Those are really important in hand lettering as well. They kind of make it look like, someone who knows how to hand letter. Those are kind of the things that I've learned to focus on. And what I do is this is just regular chalk, like Crayola chalk. I don't use chalk markers. I've never tried it, so my son was home and he was giving me some creative guidance, and he also needed a snack from the pantry. So we took a little break there. And I get out a package of baby wipes or just a paper towel that's wet. And the nice thing about the regular chalk is I can just damp, not wet, but I can just kind of erase where I make a mistake. If I don't like the curvature, I just erase it and I start over. So you can see it's just one piece at a time, and I kind of start from the center and work out. That way I know the word is centered. And mine's actually a little bit tricky because I'm doing it on the center of the doors. It kind of is in the center of where the doors open, so I have to do letters over that crease. But when the doors are closed, you can't really tell, and I think it looks really cute. So I'm going on to the or, and how I do that is I also look and see where letters are in position to other things. So I noticed that the O was right kind of underneath the C and the K, and look at the spacing. Also important, like when you do the curly cues on your K and your T, look at how far your curly cues go up in relation to the other letters, and do they come up a lot below or above the other letters, so that you can kind of copy that look without really knowing how to do it. And then the bottom word, I start for treat, I start with the E because it's in the middle, and I kind of looked to see where the I lined up with where the E lined up with the letter in trick, and so the E and the I were pretty much on top of each other. So I started my E in the same place that I started my I. And then, like I said, pay attention to that angle that comes up to connect your letters, because in hand lettering, those are just kind of like steep, and it gives you that look, if that makes any sense at all. And then also varying the thickness of your lines. To fake hand lettering, the key is to thicken your downstrokes. And when you're just copying, a sign or a word, then you can see which parts of the letters they've made thicker. So that's basically what I'm doing here. So I kind of lightly make the general sweep of the curve of the letter, and then I go in and I, darken it up and thicken it up. And then also when you're going up, like from the T on treat, when I go up, make sure that you don't keep making that thick. It's got to be thin when it comes up from that curve. That is also something that hand lettering is easy to make it look right if you do that. Now I'm doing my R, and you can see I worked backwards from it, just to, like I said, keep it centered and also to get that angle right. So it's kind of like in art class. I remember in 7th grade we did portraits, or we copied magazine photos of a face. And faces are really hard, but we broke it up into like a grid pattern, and all you did was look at that 1-inch square of the grid and copy the lines and the shapes and the shadows in that square. And so by the time you got it done all together, it looked like a perfect face. And that's sort of the same thing here. You're just focusing on one little piece at a time, not writing the whole word all at one time, because I can't do that. I don't know how to hand letter, and it just doesn't look good. But this is a good way to fake it. And then also see like where your lines come down, like the line of my T in treat. It was pretty close to the little curly Q in the R, so I tried to make that a pretty small space, and then the little bouncy, upstroke was kind of sharp, so I tried to make sure to do that. And then I feel like I'm talking really fast, guys, I'm sorry. And then the sweeping, like T and that connects to the first part of the word and the end part of the word. I just look at where it starts and how far it goes up into relation to the or, and in relation to the E and the A in treat. And I did this like the last part of the curve I was generally happy with. Sorry, Henry's giving me more feedback. Oh. And then he realized that it was a video. So, can you even stand those freckles? I just want to like suck his face. I love it. So anyways, you can see I took my my little cloth and took out the curve on that side, and I just kept getting it wrong. It just didn't look right when I stood back and looked at it. So I just left it out and then went on to drawing my little candy corns. And this is, I knew I could do because it was a super easy shape. It's kind of like a, long rounded corner triangle. So anyone can do that. And I also happen to have yellow and orange and white chalk, which made this one a good go-to. So I'm just doing the candy corns, and then I'm coming back to that little sweep that I had trouble with before. So you can see I had trouble again, so I didn't finish it. And then I went into coloring the little tips of all the candy corns white. And then I think I'm gonna, I really, this is not any of my idea. It was exactly what was on the sign. And now I'm going back to try and get that curve right. It's these little things that if you focus on those like sweeping curves and the angles, then it really will look kind of like hand lettering. It's not perfect, but I like it better than I did before. So, and then I'm going back, and I always take my little baby wipe and I clean up the edges of my letters, like darken them up, and then you can clean up any stray like chalk powder. But when you're just using regular chalk, it can get a little powdery and messy, and that's a good way to kind of clean it up and make it look nice. And then I took my orange chalk and colored in the middle of all the candy corns. And at this point, my arm was really hurting because this had taken me, I probably worked on it for over an hour, but which seems, like obsessive to some, but this is relaxing to me. I really enjoy it. So it's just fun. And now I'm just cleaning up my chalk powder mess, which you'll have to do. And that's easy. That's it. If you try this and it helps your hand lettering, let me know. I hope you guys are having a great weekend and that you enjoyed this little project. Bye.